Hello, Internet, and welcome to the Deep Fried Neurons podcast. It is a podcast about stories that I find interesting. But instead of a story today, I brought you a rant, which we don't do enough on this channel, if this channel was old enough at all. And I know that I don't have enough influence to make a difference at all. There's about 10 of you who listen to this shit regularly, probably, I don't know. But if the 10 of you take this seriously, I'd be pretty glad. And any of you, if you're in India, that makes me happier. So, yeah, well, cue the fucking... Normally, I try to stay away from contemporary politics and contemporary politics cases, but this case is so relevant to my life and your lives as well if you have ever shared a meme at all about Indian politics, that I couldn't help but cover this story on my podcast. The one I'm talking about, of course, is the case of Priyanka Sharma from Kolkata, a BJP worker, I'm sorry. My tongue is swollen for some reason, I don't know why. Not the point. A BJP worker from Kolkata is being sued by the West Bengal government for sharing a meme where she photoshopped the face of Mamata Banerjee, the CM of West Bengal, onto the dress and apparel of Priyanka Chopra at the Met Gala. Now, to be honest, Priyanka Chopra looks goofy by herself. That image did not need improvement. But apparently she put Mamata Banerjee where Priyanka Chopra's face was, and that's about it. And for sharing that meme, the West Bengal government actually arrested her under Section 66A and 67A of the IT Act 2000 and Section 500 of defamation, as in Section 500 of IPC Act. The question remains, what are the charges exactly? Now, 66A is actually an unconstitutional act thanks to Shreya Singhal, that rock star. She went against the Union of India to challenge whether Section 66A was too vague of an act and was subject to political and personal misuse in order to put people through pain of judicial process. And she won. So as of 2015, Section 66A was unconstitutional already. It was such a vague act that was supposed to protect people from online offensive terms and slander and banter and whatnot, that it could be misused by anybody and everybody. Literally, if your friend sent you a text saying sub bitch, they could actually take you to court and it would be a valid argument as of why did you send that message over the phone, which is why it was overturned and it was scrapped. So 66A is already gone. Then there's 67A of the IT Act, which is a non-bailable offense, in which what you do is, why they arrest you is, you have shared an image after photoshopping somebody's face onto a nude or a lewd or a vulgar NSFW photo. It's a, you know what a pawn swap is, your face is swapped to a pawn screenshot. That sort of shit is what protects you against Section 67A. Now I'm gonna leave a link down in the description for people who are listening to this online, in audio. But if you're on video, you would be able to see the meme on the video. So that is what was covered under Section 67A of IT Act, and they actually tried her for it. And after that, defamation, of course. So defamation is such a loosely defined concept in the Constitution in the first place that this gets misused every day, all day. And it's a trend in India for artists who are influential and openly critical of the government or political parties. They get dragged into court under defamation so often that the process itself is the punishment for them. And they lose working hours, they lose all time and place and money, and the horrors of court and shit like that. And this is yet another case. Now, Priyanka Sharma, of course, shared a dank meme. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do I agree with her politically? Absolutely not. I did not vote for BJP. Now, of course, the moment I said that, I know that I have unleashed hell in my comment section, but I'll let you know I did not vote for Congress either. None of those parties represent my interest on the larger scale. And definitely I don't agree with either of them. Congress does not have an ideology, does not have a face that could go publicly. They're just arrogant and they think that because they're the only option against BJP, they'll win this election. They might just be right about that, but I cannot vote for shit like that. And BJP, as of now, it is my belief that some factions of the BJP are an active threat to the secular identity of this country. You can say whatever you want about that, I don't give a shit. But now think about this. The party which is supposed to be the threat to secularism in this country, supposed to be, at least from the narrative of the left, they villainize everybody in the party, is the champion of free speech in this case. But let me be very clear that in the legislative, there is no heroes of free speech at all. Whether it's UPA or the NDA, all of them like to suppress free speech as often as they can. If they can suppress criticism, they'll do it. Defamation laws go unchallenged from time to time in the legislative because you know what, they're just so easy to misuse. You can just silence critics and journalists so easily, and that sort of pisses me off. Now, Priyanka Sharma was booked under these cases, and she was held under judicial custody for 14 days. After which she applied for a habeas corpus, which is a bail paper or clean sheet, whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. I'm sorry. I'll let you know after my legal education what exactly how habeas corpus works. I know it's a thing for reconsideration of custody or whatever. So when they approached the court with a bail order, the court actively said, if you apologize, we'll let you go. Justice Banerjee on the bench, this is the Supreme Court, by the way, Supreme Court of India, said that it is just wrong to Photoshop somebody's face on somebody else's face. And not only that, they violated what we call free speech under compelled speech, where they asked the lady in question, Priyanka Sharma, to apologize in exchange for not facing jail time. And by not apologizing, she was technically facing contempt of court. Now, usually Supreme Court is the last beacon of hope in the Indian governmental system. But how they've been acting about free speech since Deepak Mishra times is disgusting. I'm sorry. I am so convinced now more than ever that free speech has no friends in the Indian government. Supreme Court sometimes, maybe, but they have lost their role as protector of law and constitution, and they choose to act as the moral censor for the entire country. And they're not afraid to set precedents over completely illegal reprimand. People who are booked under illegal cases, under false cases, and debatably defamatory cases have to still apologize because it's morally wrong according to the judges on the bench of the case. Not because it's illegal. Because technically, if she was booked under 66A, that doesn't stand at all. 67A, we know it doesn't stand. We saw the photos ourselves. And defamation, maybe you could argue that in court, but I still don't see it. I don't see how she was defamed. And the thing is that if this trend did not continue, it wouldn't bother me as much. And the fact that the left is the one to do it hurts me even more because, I want the left to have good leaders and have a secure government. It's just this dumbassery keeps happening in this country and I can't vote for anybody on the left. At least on the national stage. Didi, if you wanted Modi memes, just go to my page, Instagram, Deep Fried Neurons. We make good number of memes. You'll find them anywhere on Twitter. If they share a meme about you, share a meme about them. It's not that difficult. And to be honest, let me say this. It was funny. It was funny, that image. I have no idea where your sense of humor went. You're a tough lady, but you gotta crack up a little. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm really worked out making this episode of the podcast. The point is, the Indian judiciary, legislative and executive have this common trait in common with each other, that they take the liberty of morally policing every citizen in this country who's powerless in front of them. Especially in the aspect of free speech. You say the wrong thing, oh boy, people will send you tickets to Pakistan, they'll send you garlands of shoes and rotten vegetables and whatnot, which is criticism to speech. I'm not exactly against that most of the times, but when you use power to threaten people with jail time, it's a little bit much. And to be honest, given the last year and how Supreme Court had a run of secularist social justice decisions where they banned triple talaq finally, and LGBT people finally got their rights to exist, thank you, about fucking time, we had hopes from you. That's why this stings a little more. And that's all I have to say today. If this is a shorter episode, I'm sorry, but that's it. Thank you. Special thanks to all the media who's been covering this case, which has been so sensational, and even a bigger thank you to Gautam Bhatia for writing such an informative piece on his blog, which is what gave me most of the information I shared today. I'm going to leave a link in the description. He's very intelligent from what I read and understood from him. And, he's the one who shaped the narrative of how Supreme Court is acting like my parents, but after I'm 22. After I'm 18, I mean. So that's about it. Well, subscribe to this channel if you're new, if you're listening to this Spotify or any of the 10 apps that it's available on. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week. And we have a Patreon if you want to support the content we're making here. And thank you for tuning in.